Hello everyone and welcome back to a special episode of Hallowed Be Thy Game. Ren here, and today I am joined by my best friend RPG Heels.
Thanks for having me, man.
Oh my gosh. We are jumping into the Soulsborne genre for the coming weeks. We're going to be talking about everything from our favorites in the series, the hardest, the worst, the most painful. So definitely stay tuned for April Souls Month. So with that, let's check it out. Well, let's jump straight into it. So, the Soulsborne genre. We're both relatively new. We're not like the OG, got into it in 09 or anything with Demon Souls, but could you just cover your history with the series?
Yeah, I remember like staying away from it at first because just that it's so hard, you know, you're going to
That was the marketing.
Yeah, that was the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I had played, you know, Devil May Cry 1 and like Ninja Gaiden,
Right.
where they're hard and you don't, I don't know, it's kind of off-putting after a while. But I tried Dark Souls 1 on Xbox and Bloodborne on PlayStation 3. Xbox 360, I should say.
Okay.
And for some reason didn't quite get into them. I don't know why.
Right.
But listening to you and our other friend Dana talk about Dark Souls, Dana actually purchased Dark Souls 1 for me for Xbox, drunkenly. And loved it, absolutely loved it.
Right.
I streamed it for you guys to watch my misery, dying from bosses.
That was such a fun summer.
And I think that really helped me get through it too. It was like, because you guys already lived through the pain.
Right.
So.
It's weird when you've lived through the pain. It's kind of like a weird masochistic thing. You're like, ooh, somebody's playing it for the first time. You know, we just vultures zoom in. So.
Yeah, it's like you see like some type of tragedy and you drive by and you're like, I've been in one of those.
Hey, I've been ejected through the windshield before. Oh, man. And, you know, so you play Dark Souls, and that kind of... Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You had kind of... I think the conversation initially with Danik was you had started playing the Jedi Knight.
I started playing Star Wars Fallen Order.
That's what it was.
Which, for better or worse, is Dark Souls-like.
Right.
A lot of fun. I'd recommend playing it.
Right.
But yeah, so he got annoyed with me for playing that one and not playing Dark Souls 1.
Yeah. He was inebriated, and he's just like, okay, tomorrow Dark Souls is going to be on your front porch.
Yeah, like 2 days later in the mail, I had Dark Souls 1, like Ultimate or Whatever it's called, Ultimate Edition or Remastered.
Yeah.
So I got to play it all the way through. So I got to play from first boss to DLC boss.
Okay.
And make sure I did every boss as I went.
So you played Dark Souls, and you 100%, well, you didn't platinum it, but you killed everything that could be killed.
Oh, exactly. I went through, I had a boss order list that just told me what order to do them and nothing really else. And I just did that from front to back. And
yeah. So after Dark Souls, where do you go from there?
I went to Dark Souls 3. I skipped 2, mainly because I've heard how long it is.
Yeah.
And I'm not really good with finishing long games.
Right.
When they're like really, really long.
Right.
I'm still working on Persona 5 Royal.
Man, if they just put it on Switch, but
that's a whole other episode, which I'm sure he's already talked about more than once.
I may have mentioned it in passing. So.
But yeah, so I went Dark Souls 3. I did not finish this DLC right off the bat. I didn't even start it, if I remember right. And then I took a little break, and then I went back and I did all the DLC for that one as well.
Very cool. And you also are the only other person I know that has killed every boss, personally, I should say, in all of Dark Souls 3. So yeah,
because I had skipped Nameless King.
Yeah,
because he was giving me a lot of problems.
Oh
and
man,
I ended up
he's given a lot of people a lot of trouble.
I was like, forget it. I'm just gonna do all the deal. I'm gonna do the last boss. Then I kind of stopped.
Right.
I did go back and do Nameless King after finishing. How many bosses are in the DLC?
I want to say, okay, you have 2 DLC. You have the Painted World and then the Ring City. I think the Painted World technically only has 2 or 3. Oh no. Anyways, that final boss of the Painted World with 3 phases.
Oh, it's going.
That was rough. But but I know the Ring City has 3. I think 3. No, yes.
So I did Nameless King before the last boss.
Okay.
I think I did it before the last boss of the DLC.
Right.
Then I went and did the last boss.
Yeah. Very cool.
And I enjoyed both of those a lot.
So from Dark Souls 3, where do you go?
I went straight to Demon Souls Remake for PS5.
Oh, gosh. And we'll definitely be getting into that more. So for me, my first foray into the Souls genre was Bloodborne. And I did not come to this series looking for epic challenge. And just like you, I was like, I just didn't feel like playing something that was hard for the sake of being hard. And that's the problem with I think the kind of mythos and the, for lack of a better word, just the journalistic aura of like, this is the hardest series ever, which it isn't. If we're being honest, it's not easy.
No, I guess it's going to give you a challenge. And
you're
going to die, and you're going to fail, and you're going to pick yourself back up, and you're going to...
It is jarring because it is a series that's, it's out to kill you. It's not going to be super unfair, but yeah.
But, I mean, I've played harder in the sake of things that are like the game is broken hard.
Yeah, like any shmup ever created.
Yeah, like there's...
Right.
Or even fighting games I'm not good at, so I would, in certain circumstances, I would count those
to be hard. That's essentially where I was at, and I'm a big fan of H.P. Lovecraft. So I was talking to some friends online through World of Warcraft and even Danik, and they were like, well, you need to play Bloodborne. I was like, I do. So essentially, Danik had let me borrow his copy, which I think I still have. Luckily, he's not going to watch this episode, probably. Anyways, so I started playing it, and immediately it was just the world setting that kind of kept me in it. I beat Bloodborne. It was an incredible experience. It's one of those games that definitely haunted me. It still sticks with you. But when I had beaten it, I was there initially for the Lovecraft experience, so when it was over, I was good. And, Danik just kept kind of saying, hey, you should try Dark Souls. And I was like, I should. So I picked it up on the Switch. And I started playing it, and it was everything I had been looking for, but it didn't know I was looking for. It essentially helped me come down off of my super addiction to MMORPGs. It was kind of like that thinking man's action RPG. It was slow and methodical. The combat initially clicked with me more because it wasn't just strictly dodging like in Bloodborne, which I loved. I mean, don't get me wrong, Bloodborne is a masterpiece. Even Miyazaki considers it his greatest work, which, why wouldn't he? It's a phenomenal game. But Dark Souls was really that linchpin to where I was like, I need more of this. So I played Dark Souls, beat that, did the DLC, and then I hopped straight into Dark Souls 3. I don't think it had been out for, I'm not sure about when the release dates was, but then I went and I did all the DLC, had an incredible time, and then I went over to Dark Souls 2. Whoa. I think I clocked in 140 hours when I beat the final DLC.
Yeah, that's what.
It's
one day
heft.
I'll do it. It'll take me.
It's some heft.
3 years, but
sure.
I'll get through all of it.
And then I played Sekiro. So that was just kind of the order I experienced the games in. It was right of a lifetime, and without question. And then obviously here recently got the PS5.
So
you
kind of started with one of the. In scales of difficulty, you kind of jumped in the deep end pretty quick.
Yeah, Bloodborne. The good thing about starting with something like Bloodborne is you learn just to dodge. So when people are like, you can get a shield in Bloodborne, but it's kind of like a meme. Even the shield mocks you in some way. The text on it's just like, yeah, you shouldn't be using this. But so it kind of got me in the groove of dodging, which honestly made my experiences elsewhere easier because, like the Nameless King or fighting even Slave Knight Gale, you have to dodge for those fights. So luckily, Bloodborne kind of broke me in that regard right off the bat.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I will say, and we'll talk about the difficulty tier list, but spoiler alert, Bloodborne's up there for me. And I think any one you play first is always going to kind of leave that, that was not easy. No matter whether you jump in at the easy end, because we may say something's easiest, but we're talking in kind of a niche here to where none of them are easy.
Right.
I want to also just kind of pick your brain about how you progress through the games. With Dark Souls 1, 3, Demon Souls, what kind of builds did you always gravitate towards?
I gravitated towards Sword and Shield. building a lot of endurance so I can take the blocks.
Take the.
And I think not starting with Bloodborne made me do that.
Right.
Because I didn't really.
I think that's
dodging
a common
wasn't,
thing. Yeah.
I wasn't good at it at the beginning, so I'm like, well, I'll just use a shield. I'll block through it,
Mm-hmm.
which does get to be a problem on certain bosses, which we'll get to.
Right.
Like Nameless King.
Right.
You're not gonna block the Nameless King.
Yeah. I mean, he's one of those bosses that when he catches you, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
That's,
That's it.
I mean, your stamina bar. You know, you can wear that garden stone armor all day, but well, even Artorias will do it too.
Then I did switch in Dark Souls 1 to using a halberd for some fights. I think I actually finished the game with the halberd. I think I switched from sword and shield to halberd and shield.
I love the moveset of the halberd.
The downswing on it was great, and then you could poke with it also. It helped with a couple boss fights. I was having a really hard time with the shield or the sword. Right. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I ended Dark Souls 1 with using the
Did you switch to the halberd on ONS?
I did.
Yeah. Smoen Orenstein for anybody who's wondering.
Yeah, because I could I just backed up and just poked and went around the room.
Right.
Wasn't the shortest fight in the world or the most graceful fight in the world, but it worked.
I mean, that first time you fight them, you know, it's whatever it takes. I'm very similar. So obviously, I did mention with Bloodborne, but I took a gap in between Bloodborne and Dark Souls. So when I came to Dark Souls, I like to have a plan and stuff like that. So I looked, and I essentially did a quality build for the original Dark Souls, which is, you know, your typical sword and board. But I used the Claymore. I ended up going Claymore. And what I loved about it in Dark Souls is the R2 on it, you could jab forward with it.
Oh, nice.
Because nothing can make you panic or rage faster than when you swing your sword and it clangs off of a wall. So, like with the halberd, that downward swipe, it's a lifesaver.
Absolutely. Because, you hit a wall, then they're still coming at you. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, and actually, you know, I love the moveset of kind of the halberds and such like that, to where even when I play Dark Souls 2, there is the Mastodon Spear. I absolutely love the moveset of the Mastodon Spear. I had initially, because they're these giant elephant-type enemies that are super strong but very slow. Anyways, you can get their weapons, and one of them, they have a sword, but once I found out they had a spear, I think it's a spear. Yeah. Anyways, it essentially has the same moveset of a halberd.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, that was fun enough to where I pushed through the hard parts of of Dark Souls 2.
I'll have to remember that one. I played too.
But yeah, so essentially my favorite builds, I definitely, you know, for my first playthrough, I always gravitated towards the quality build. I did do a strength build for Demon Souls. But one of my all-time favorite builds is actually a pyromancy build from Dark Souls 3.
Oh, nice.
It was kind of a pain to get the wheels moving on it, because to get the best pyromancies, you need like the dark magic pyromancies that are down in the, essentially the molten fire area with like the old Demon King.
Oh, okay.
Well, everything's fire resistant down there, so you essentially have to make a crappy wizard build, sorcery build,
just to get through that part.
Oh my gosh! But once you beat that part, oh my gosh, you get this sick move to where, like when I was fighting the Legion. Oh my gosh, what is the name of the Legion? Abyss Watchers. Oh my gosh, quick cut.
Just don't hit the Abyss Watcher.
Abyss Watcher. Yeah, don't fight the one you're fighting. But with the pyromancy, you get this really amazing ability where it's a grab. And it's high risk, high reward. But if you grab somebody with it, it's game over. Like, when you grab them and you like shoot fire through your hands. It's so sick.
That's pretty
cool.
But
then you get this like giant dark magic fire orb. Pyromancy in Dark Souls 3 was an absolute blast to play. I loved it so much. The only thing that stinks is my Pyromancer is on my Steam account. And not my PS4.
Oh, no.
So I went to capture footage of it for the channel, and I was like, oh, man, my laptop isn't going to run OBS and Dark Souls 3. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. But I think that's why one of the things I kind of gravitate towards with the Souls series and Bloodborne in particular is that you have build diversity.
Right.
You know,
and you can kind of watch. Really, you can watch enemies and see what they're using and be like, well, I could do something.
That dude looks cool.
Yeah, I could do something similar next build. Like
you forget to get rid of your humanity. You get invaded. You're like, that dude looked cool who just knocked me off the cliff.
Like I was watching towards the end of Demon Souls. It's when you're going to the last 4-3, the last boss, or 1-3. Sorry.
Oh yes,
the king. The guy has a giant shield and a spear, and he can poke you around the shield with it and continue to block. And I'm like, that's right up my alley, because I love to block.
Do you know that? I think that's called the Scraving Spear. Anyways, it heavily damages your durability.
Oh, really?
So if he hits you enough with that, it will break your armor.
Oh, really?
It's like a King Troll PvP tactic.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you, like, after you got done with that and went back and repaired, if your bill was a lot higher, that's why.
Gotcha.
Because he's a jerk.
Well, luckily they didn't respond.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, that was very cool. Very cool indeed.
But then you can go online and you see all the builds people are doing, and it is a wide range of...
Right.
The replayability is through the roof,
yeah.
in my opinion.
And, you know, one thing I always say is it's not how good you are, it's how good you look. And the fashion Souls, for me, is definitely a big part of it, you know? So, yeah. But very cool. Anyways, I think, you know, we'll go ahead and wrap up this discussion right here. I want to thank you guys so much for watching RPG Heals. I want to thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, and we're going to continue filming more episodes for the coming weeks of April Souls Month. So be sure to check it out. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so we can keep hanging out in the future. And until then, we'll see you guys next time.